Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Launch and Learn with Product Management. This afternoon we have Sharon, Jason, and myself, Lee. And Jason is going to be showing off Inscriptions and some of the new functionality that comes along with that. Take it away, Jason.
Okay, we're all very excited about this next release, and one of the reasons is that one of the biggest strengths of our product is that it allows merchants to sell all kinds of different products, from downloadable PDF files to digital products to some customized things like apparel. And one thing that we were missing was the ability to allow merchants to also sell personalized products with custom printing or engraving. So we're looking at a couple of sites here. This is personalizedforbaby.com. This isn't one of our clients. It's just somebody we found, and there's quite a bit of personalization in people selling baby products. And you can see here that if you wanted to order this keepsake blanket, they request the baby's name, the birth date, the weight, and the length. And this has been something that we haven't had the ability to offer our merchants in the past, and that's what this release is all about. Now, one other thing to consider here is that for this to work really effectively, it needs to be able to have different options, different input if you're buying two of these blankets, because maybe you want to get one for your niece and one for your nephew. So it actually needs to work different than a custom field. And in the past, a lot of merchants have been working around this limitation by using custom fields in the checkout. And that's failed them at one level because it doesn't allow them to record input per quantity of the product that's ordered, or every instance of the baby blanket that gets placed in the cart. So what we've done is we've actually allowed them quite a robust ability to get started with this. And I'm going to show you a couple more typical sites, and it's really not hard to find personalized sites. We Googled and we found quite a few. And this is some of the cooler products and some of the more niche products that are out there, but it's a large segment of the marketplace that we weren't able to accommodate in the past. So here we have personalcreations.com. This one is just about everything personalized. And again, it was outside of our scope of being able to help this merchant. So we're excited to be able to accommodate folks like this. This wedding day character platter, very cool. You can put in your wedding date, the bride's name, and then select an image. So we have a combination of what we're calling input option, and then we have our normal option. And one other thing that we recently had done, I think it's probably been about a year, we had been limited in the past to only allowing 3 option drop-down, and we've expanded that to 25. So with the inception here of being able to do input options on the product level, as well as some neat functionality we have coming out in the next release, we've pretty much enabled our system to allow merchants to sell any kind of product, and are wide open to e-commerce businesses, regardless of what kind of merchandise they're selling, and that's a big deal for us. So I'm going to show you how simple this is to set up, and then we'll talk a little bit about some future developments that are already in the works. We're going to show you how our first wave of input options fits into the existing system. So in the past, we actually had, under the Settings tab, we actually had a link here to options, and we've actually now made that a tab. And you'll see here that we now have an option type, which is either selection, which is going to be the default whenever you create a new option, and selection being the shopper selects one of the option values. And right now the only selection type we have is a drop-down list, but that's going to change in the next release and allow you to do even more. And then, of course, the new text input option is the latest. So let's just say we wanted to do another text input option, and this should all be really familiar to merchants. We've used the native controls for creating options, so that really all they have to do is adopt this new input requirement. So let's say we wanted to do another line. So they have slogan, and then maybe we do tagline. and they want to do a second input option. And the options can actually be required even if they're text input. So just like we used to do, you create the new option, and then you get the opportunity to add the values to the option. Now for this release, instead of just editing the values, in the past, we've actually improved this control a little bit, because in the past you would actually have to know to edit the values to get to the next step, but instead we've just exposed them here. So right away you've added tagline, and here's the option values for tagline, and you can just start filling them out. So the value is going to be the name of the label that we display, and then you can have, for this option, just like any other option, it's unlikely, but it's possible that it could be weight affecting. Weight affecting option could have a unique skew. Character limit is specific only to input. So what we can do here is allow the merchant to say, I only want to accept 3 characters, maybe because I'm doing monogram, or maybe on the plate we looked at in the earlier example, there was like a 12-character limit to what would fit on that wedding plate. So at the input value level, merchant can specify how many characters to accept. Handling fee still works just like any other option. The difference being, handling fee still works just like any other option. So it's basically just on the option itself. Price adjustment works like the regular drop-down selection option, and that is applied to this case. It's per value that's filled out. So if I put a price adjustment here of $2, anytime anytime a shopper fills out the tagline input field in the shopping cart, $2 is added to the charge, to the price of that product. Now to make this even more flexible, by flagging this per character checkbox, now we're saying this price adjustment is per character. So if you're doing embroidering or stitching, engraving, and you want to charge 25 cents per character, you can actually flag this per character fee, and then you end up with an adjustment based on how many characters they type in. So the limit is 12, maybe they put in 6. If they put in 6, they're going to have a price adjustment of $1.50 more. So really flexible, really helpful to people doing print, engraving, any of those kinds of personalized products, niche products. Now, as I said, right now for this release coming up, it's limited to 1 value for the input type. In the next release, they'll be able to have multiple values, and that's coming up just on a regular schedule in October. And then they'll be able to actually have, perhaps you could do something like gift address if you wanted to, and then actually have first name, last name, and gift address all the way through, and all under one option heading, and that'll save some space so that our merchants aren't consuming the 25 options as quickly, but also the layout will be a little more friendly in the cart when they have multiple input fields. So let's take a look right now. I modified that t-shirt, and let's take a look at the store. And now we've got the original option, and you can see how close this is already to the keepsake embroidered site we looked at. We've got the first option, which is the slogan, what should it say? And because we did the price adjustment, just like as if we had done the price adjustment on a drop-down option, the system's going to show the text add, and the dollar amount. So it's going to do the same thing here on text input, add $2. And this one, the tagline, I did per character, so it's automatically going to fill this out at 25 cents per character. And now a couple things to keep in mind. The character limit is the amount of characters that can be typed into the field, that the field will accept. So I had a 12-character limit. It's going to stop me at 12. It doesn't control the size of the field that's there for input, and there's a reason that that's the case. And the reason for that is because we have various templates out there, various templates and store implementations. So we wanted it to stay relatively within reason so that the templates don't blow out if somebody has a 255 character limit. the shopper can still type beyond it, but they can't. It won't make this field jut out off of the page. And that's particularly important when you get to the shopping cart, because the shopping cart is the same for everybody, and we didn't want this to vary based on that. At least, this way it's going to be safe in all cases, so it's a fail-safe. Now, here's what I was mentioning earlier is, what if someone orders 2 of these custom T-shirts? Well, they obviously might want a different slogan. So if they want 2 of exactly the same, they'll change the quantity to 2. If they use this, it's going to add a separate instance. And now I could change it to, this one's a woman, change the font, and now this is completely unique. So it could be completely unique in the baby case earlier. Maybe you wanted one for your niece and one for your godson. So you could do completely unique instances for the input. When this passes back to the order, this is where it has the additional value for the merchant, because capturing this data in the cart needs to have a logical place to go and needs to be available for the merchant to process the order. So if we look at the order details page now we see this was a previous order, but now you see that it has the selected options listed and the input value, what was typed in, and I have no slogan, or I have a slogan. So we're passing all that information to the relevant places in the system, just like any other option, whether it was selected or whether it's an input. And that'll also apply to packing slips, pick tickets. And if there was a second instance, this actually is a case of where 2 unique instances of this were ordered. They can see the unique option.
And so I guess this doesn't necessarily have to be used for something that the merchant's going to charge for either. They could even just have it for additional customer input, or even just have a little bit of fun with it. I can't think of any particular uses, but it's not necessary that they charge for it. Correct?
Oh, exactly. You don't have to charge at all for that option. Just like on any other option, you don't need to add an additional fee to the option. And what's really interesting is we have many different user classes that use our system, and some of them do more traditional email marketing kinds of services. And one particular avenue they do a lot of is seminars and subscriptions. So regardless of what type of product this is, if this was digital or if it's a recurring product, you can still have that information on there. So for instance, if somebody was doing let's say a training, and they wanted to sell the training online as a product, basically, they could add these input fields to the product, these input options, and ask for the trainee's name, the trainee's address, date of birth, contact, phone number, any relevant information to provide not just a product, not just to fulfill a product, but to also provide a service and a service-based offering. And we do have quite a few people who provide service-based offerings as opposed to like tangible products, and I think they're going to find this to be incredibly helpful as well.